I've been a professor of strategic management for almost 30 years. And during those 30 years, one of the questions I've heard most commonly, whether it be from students, whether it be from executives, whether it be from consulting clients, or whether it simply be a conversation at a cocktail party, is what does one company perform better than another? Why did a company fail, or why did a company succeed? Was it good strategy, or was it good implementation? Or was it good strategy poorly implemented? Or perhaps it was good implementation of a poor strategy. And I sometimes am amused, and yet I sometimes struggle in how to answer, because what I really want to say is, well, yes to all of the above, or perhaps no to all of the above. All of those things can produce poor outcomes. But I believe there's a deeper and more important question here, and it's what I want to focus on for the next few minutes in this video, and that is the distinction, or better yet, perhaps the lack of distinction, between strategy formulation and strategy implementation. Over the course of the academic discipline, over the course of the history that strategic management has been its own academic discipline, scholars have made a distinction between the formulation of the strategy, the development of the strategy, the analysis of the environment, the analysis of the company's resources, the formulation of the intents and the various different competitive go-to-market tools that a company will use, and the implementation of that strategy, the job of actually getting it done and doing the work of bringing the strategy to life through the company's day-to-day actions and the various actions of its people and its processes. And I believe what that has created in the minds of many is a belief, or a separation where no separation truly exists. Formulation and implementation are inextricably woven together. It makes no sense to formulate a strategy without taking into account the implementation abilities of the organization. To use a sports example, it would be like designing a passing offense for a running team, a team whose players were designed and recruited and trained to run the ball, and then suddenly trying to implement with that group of people a passing offense, or a team that relies heavily on its defense, that has recruited for and built its strategy around the idea of low-scoring games with a strong defense, and then suddenly expecting them to go out and get into a scoring contest where they scored a bunch of points and outscored the other team. It makes no sense to formulate strategy without taking into account the implementation. And so implementation and formulation are much more closely woven together than oftentimes people understand. And oftentimes the questions like the one I gave as an example earlier imply. To help me remember this and to help others remember it, we've put in the chapter on implementation an old tool that goes all the way back to the 1970s. It was created by McKinsey & Company, called their 7S model. And what it really illustrates is just the importance of connecting all of the dots within a network of things that an organization represents. Its strategy, its structure, its systems, its shared values, its style of doing things. All of these are important to bringing to life the intention of the strategy. Think, for example, about Walmart. Walmart is the nation's largest retailer. Walmart is known for both the vast availability of products, vast availability of its stores, and its low prices, and the reliability of the company to back the products it sells. And then think about what has to go on behind the scenes to make all of that so, to bring that strategy to life. The extraordinary logistical network of its warehouses, its trucks, its relationship to its suppliers, the technology that has to report almost instantaneously what's being sold at the stores, so that the company knows what to order more of and where to position it, so that the warehouses know how to load trucks, so to resupply that store with exactly what is selling. And then think about how that enables each different Walmart location across the thousands of different Walmart locations across the country and around the world, how it enables each of those stores to deliver what that particular market wants. If one particular item is selling well there, then Walmart needs to be able to replace that item quickly. If it's selling not well in another place, then they don't want to dedicate a lot of shelf space to it. They want to dedicate shelf space to something else. And so their point of sale technology has to integrate with their logistics and supply chain system, which has to integrate with their procurement, which has to integrate with their finance and accounting system. All of that has to be woven together very, very tightly and then messaged through their marketing and their advertising, so that customers understand the value proposition that Walmart is offering. Any particular weak link, any particular breakage in that network threatens the viability of the entire strategy. And so implementation is really less about just taking a plan and executing on it than it is really designing an organization that is especially well fit to the strategy itself. In fact, you could say that the fit among those 7 S's, the fit amongst the various different components of that network, are ultimately what determine the success of the corporation overall. Not just the quality of the strategy or the quality of the implementation, but the tightness with which they were woven together from the very beginning, how well the entire system is designed. That's the real value in implementation. It can seem tedious at times. It can certainly strain even the best intellects to think through all of the connections and to see all of the imperatives built into the operation of a large organization to make that strategy successful. But in doing it well, in learning to implement well, and in learning to tie that implementation to the formulation and development of the strategy at every level, companies find significant and sustainable advantage.